Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. They'll be talking with the Troy University SGA President-elect, Matt Thompson. Matt, thanks for joining me here today.
Thanks for having me.
And of course, we want to get the folks a chance to get to know the new President-elect for the SGA.
Right,
so just let us know a little bit about yourself, where you're from, your major, all that sort of stuff.
Well, I'm Matthew Thompson, like you said, Will's brother. From Montgomery, Alabama. I'm an accounting major. Hopefully going to add economics to that there in the fall. And yes, I am the new SGA president.
And as you mentioned there, was going to avoid the topic, but you are former SGA President Will Thompson's brother. So how does it feel to be, I guess, continuing the legacy of Thompson's as SGA president?
Well, I get it a lot, so it's best not to avoid it nowadays. So, you know, it's strange. It's funny. It's one thing because I definitely couldn't let him beat me out. So it feels good to kind of fill the shoes and carry on the tradition, I would say.
Has he given you any tips up to this point?
He tried to in the campaign, but I kind of shrugged him off. I kind of wanted to do my own thing. So.
Do your own thing. Nothing wrong with that.
We're different people, so I felt like it would be best
different strategies. Yes,
definitely.
Well, let's talk a little about now that the campaign's over. You've been elected. You'll start in the fall as president. What are some of your expectations of what you hope to do during your administration?
Well, there's a few things. My platform contained 4 main points that I wanted to do, but outside of that, there are a few things. You know, I wanted to make the SGA a priority and make it more important with the senators and with the student. I wanted to make sure that the students were better represented. Along my 4 points, the first one, and this was the big one. Cody Farrell had written a bill to make sure that we had a rec center that was built with our money. There would be a fee that would be put on tuition to make sure we had a say in what goes in it. And I just want to make sure that's continued, make sure the progress on that's continued. In the way that the students see fit, with their hours, the stuff they want in it. Another thing that I wanted to see done was TC and Saga be open for people who might have extracurricular activities that may keep them from the normal dining hours, and make sure that they can use their points, whenever they get off their sports, they get off their jobs, because not everybody just goes to class and goes home and has all this time to go eat. Another thing was I wanted to make sure that there were at least 2 town halls per semester to make sure that students' voices were heard, and personally by my exec, and make sure there was an open door policy, to make sure that we, as the SGA, were doing our jobs as best representing the students.
And of course, another one of the topics I remember that you had mentioned during the debates and was parking and working on some issues with parking. Obviously, parking always seems to be an issue on campus, but I know that there was this past year in the SGA, there was some work towards that. And are you hoping to continue that?
I am. Not necessarily creating new parking decks, because we're in a time of reconstruction with alumni now, and hopefully the new rec center here shortly. But maybe a reconfiguration of the parking lots we have available. There are parking lots that are available on the outskirts of campus that maybe people don't use, but our transit system is there and available for people to use that. And also encourage things like walking and biking for the people who live on campus, so that people who live off campus, maybe 30 minutes away, 15 minutes away, or even in places like Hunter's Mountain or something that's just a little bit outside and people have to drive, make sure they have parking spots first, make sure they have the priority. But that's pretty much it, just cleaning it up and make sure it runs as smooth as possible.
And of course, you mentioned briefly earlier about the openness of the SGA and getting people involved and working smoothly. How important is it going to be for you to have students the general population of students involved in the Student Government Association?
It's going to be immensely important, because we don't want just one type of people's opinion on things like the rec center or things, what we're doing. We want everybody's opinion. That every kind of group, every kind of organization, we want their opinion, because we're not gonna be any better if nobody tells us what they want. We are a representation of the students, and I want to be Troy students' friend. I want to be their peer before I'm the president. So hopefully, through advertisement and making sure kids know that, or students know that they can come to us with their ideas, hopefully we'll have a lot more progressive year than we may have seen in the past.
Well, good luck with your term as president. You'll start this fall, and hopefully the students will take advantage of some of the things you're bringing to the plate. And I want to thank you for joining me here today on Trojan Talk.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk. That's all the time we have. Now, back to the news desk.